Gottlob Hartwig Alfred Michael von Ludwiger, best known as Hartwig von Ludwiger, was a German high-ranking officer during World War II and a recipient of the Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross with oak leaves. The Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross and its higher grade oak leaves was awarded to recognize extreme battlefield bravery as successful military leadership. Hartwig von Ludwiger was responsible for numerous atrocities committed throughout the Balkans. After the war, he was executed by the Yugoslavs as a war criminal. Family. Hartwig von Ludwiger was born in Büdden, Silesia, in 1895. He was the son of Bruno Gottlob von Ludwiger and Adele Casseli von Ludwiger. He had two older brothers and an older sister, Guido Gottlob von Ludwiger, Friedrich Gottlob Hartwig, Alexander von Ludwiger and Elisabeth Olga von Ludwiger. He also had two sons, both of whom were killed during World War II. Gottlob Hans Jochen von Ludwiger eventually reached the rank of Oberleutnant and was killed south of Signavino. Gottlob Klaus Dieter von Ludwiger was born on the 24th of August 1923. He rose to the rank of lieutenant and fell near Torun, Poland on the 19th of February 1945. Military career. World War I. Hartwig von Ludwiger was called to the Prussian army on the 17th of August 1914, shortly after the outbreak of World War I. As an officer candidate, he fought in World War I with the 11th Grenadier Regiment, after being commissioned a lieutenant on the 30th of July 1915. Von Ludwiger served in various platoons and companies as commander and participated in several well-known battles of the Great War in the Western Front, the Battle of Champagne, the Battle of Arras, the Battle of Somme, the Battle of Flandres and the Battle of Mars, earning the Iron Cross First Class for his bravery. He was also wounded in action several times and was awarded the Wound Badge in silver. Interwar period. After the capitulation of the German Empire in 1918, he was retained in the Reichswehr. During the early 1920s, he was involved in the suppression of the Silesian uprisings. He rose to the rank of lieutenant and to that of Oberleutnant, serving in various infantry regiments during the military mobilization following Adolf Hitler's rise to power. He was named commander of the 3rd Battalion of the 28th Infantry Regiment in 1936, having the rank of major. 2 years later, on the 1st of April 1938, he was promoted to Oberstleutnant. World War II. France, Soviet Union and Ukraine. On the 1st of March 1940, von Ludwiger was appointed commander of the 83rd Infantry Regiment of the 28th Infantry Division, with which he took part in the invasion of France. Following Operation Barbarossa, he was awarded the Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross on the 15th of July 1941. After distinguishing himself numerous times in the area of Smolensk in the early stages of the campaign, and was promoted to Oberst on the 1st of September 1941. Due to the heavy casualties his regiment suffered while fighting in the Moscow offensive, the 28th Infantry Division was moved to occupied France to refit as a Jaeger Division on the 1st of December. The 28th Jaeger Division was sent back to the front in southern Ukraine, where it participated in the heavy fighting on the Crimean Peninsula and especially in the Strait of Kerch. Von Ludwiger was the 163rd officer to be awarded the oak leaves on his Knight's Cross for his actions during the battles on the 23rd of December 1942. During his award ceremony, he met his future superior, Hubert Lanz, and his future subordinate Harold von Hirschfeld. Yugoslavia. Von Ludwiger was posted as commander of the 704th Infantry Division in Yugoslavia on the 20th of February 1943. The division was later renamed to 104th Jaeger Division and von Ludwiger assumed his post on the 3rd of March 1943, while within the next month, he was promoted to General Major. Von Ludwiger was quite active in the anti-partisan operations. In particular, he was placed in command of a unit consisting mainly of the 724th Jaeger Regiment and a Bulgarian regiment, designated Kampfgruppe von Ludwiger. Aided by the Italian Torinense Division, Kampfgruppe Ludwiger was tasked with the obliteration of armed guerrillas in the area of Montenegro, mainly Chetniks and Tito's communist partisans. This campaign was launched on the 20th of May under the codename Fall Schwarz, but, as partisans deliberately avoided open battles with the well-equipped German forces, the overall action of the Kampfgruppe returned rather poor results. Subsequently, the unit was dissolved on the 9th of June and Ludwiger with his staff returned to Požarevac. Of course, Ludwiger didn't quit his activities concerning the suppression of partisans, but with chances of extermination of the partisan forces themselves being slim. In the meanwhile, Ludwiger launched a terror campaign against the civilian population. Specifically, he implemented the typical 50-to-1 reprisals ratio, which ordered the execution of 50 civilian hostages for every German killed by partisan activity. As a result, in 2 months' time, from the 1st of April to the 1st of June, Ludwiger's Supreme Commander of Military District Serbia, General Paul Bada, was virtually flooded with Ludwiger's requests for reprisals, but he nevertheless authorized them. In total, 500 civilians were killed in reprisals for the murder of 8 German soldiers and 2 Serbian mayors from partisans, while numerous villages were looted and torched. Greece. Upon completion of Operation Black, 104th Jaeger Division was ordered to move to western Greece, while on march to Agrinio. On the 10th of July, the 2nd Company of the division's Pioneer Battalion was ambushed near the Trichonida Lake by Greek guerrillas, who were reported to be dressed like British soldiers. 2 officers and 16 soldiers were killed, while another 20 were wounded and several vehicles were destroyed. The next day, an officer was killed from a hand grenade tossed on his vehicle. Ludwiger, installing his headquarters in Agrinio, applied to carry out his usual reprisal tactics against civilians, but this time his request was rejected from the staff of Army Group E. The Germans initially tried to maintain good relations with the Greek population. Despite this, German forces razed a village near Naupactus and executed 12 suspicious gangsters. After the Allied invasion of Sicily, Italian forces signed an armistice with the Allied troops. The Germans were prepared for this possibility and launched Operation Acqui to forcibly disarm Italian troops in southern France and the Balkans. The 1st Company of the 724th Battalion of Ludwiger's division was ordered to disarm the Italian garrison in Cephalonia along with the 1st Mountain Division, something that resulted in one of the largest executions of POWs to be committed during World War II, the Massacre of the Acqui Division in September 1943. Hartwig von Ludwiger was promoted to General Lieutenant on the 1st of January 1944. By August 1944, Ludwiger's forces continued the reprisals against the Greek population, now aided by SS divisions. Ludwiger wrote in his report that in the meanwhile, however, after the Soviets launched the large summer counter-offensive Operation Bagration, the German forces in the Balkans faced encirclement. The Germans had evacuated most of mainland Greece by the end of October 1944, but with Romania and Bulgaria defecting to the Soviet Union, Axis forces were stuck in bitter fighting in the northern Balkans, facing guerrilla forces now supported by the Red Army. Towards the end of the war, on the 29th of April 1945, Ludwiger was promoted to General of the Infantry and took command of 21 Gebirgsarmee Corps, Ludwiger and the surviving elements of his division, which had suffered heavy casualties in the Balkans, were captured towards the end of the war. His successor in command of 104th Jaeger Division, General Lieutenant Friedrich Stephan, was captured as well and was shot in Ljubljana along with 3 other generals without trial from Yugoslav partisans in early June. Possibly von Ludwiger was captured by Red Army soldiers and was then handed over to the Yugoslavs on the 13th of May. Trial and execution. After being held in a POW camp, von Ludwiger was put on trial before a Yugoslavian court-martial in Belgrade between the 27th of March and the 4th of April 1947, along with several German officers such as General Major Hans Gravenstein and SS Brigadeführer und General Major der Waffen SS Karl von Oberkamp, all of whom received the death penalty. Von Ludwiger was specifically indicted for found guilty of the charges. He was sentenced to death on the 1st of April 1947. It remains unclear whether he was executed by firing squad or by hanging. The sources are contradictory. Nevertheless, he was executed in a prison at Belgrade. The exact date varies according to the source, possibly on 3 of the 5th of May, and less plausibly on the 25th of April. Awards. List of notable decorations and awards presented to Ludwiger throughout his military career. Iron Cross 2nd Class on the 2nd of July 1915. Iron Cross 1st Class on the 14th of May 1917. Knight's Cross of the Royal House Order of Hohenzollern with swords. Wound Badge in Silver. Cross for Merit in War. Order of the Silesian Eagle 1st Class and 2nd Class. Honor Cross of the World War 1914-1918. Wehrmacht Long Service Award 4th to 1st Class. Clasp to the Iron Cross 1st Class. Clasp to the Iron Cross 2nd Class. Infantry Assault Badge in Silver. Eastern Front Medal. Crimea Shield. 163rd Oak Leaves on the 23rd of December 1942 as Oberst and Commander of Jaeger Regiment 83.